Hey everyone, welcome back to ExpressBook Insights. Today, we're diving into a life-changing book. Don't let your emotions run your life for teens. It's all about mastering your emotions. Using dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by mood swings or struggled with anger, this video is for you. The author of the book, Sheri Dijk, is a respected figure in the field of mental health, particularly known for her expertise in dialectical behavior therapy (DBT). With a Master of Social Work degree, Dijk has established herself as a skilled psychotherapist, combining her clinical expertise with a passion for teaching and writing. Her work primarily focuses on helping individuals, especially teens, manage and regulate their emotions, effectively using DBT techniques. This approach stems from her deep understanding of the unique challenges and pressures faced by adolescents in today's world. Dialectical behavior therapy (DBT), a psychotherapeutic approach initially developed for treating borderline personality disorder, but found to be effective for a wide range of issues. DBT combines standard cognitive behavioral techniques for emotion regulation and reality testing with concepts of distress tolerance, acceptance, and mindful awareness largely derived from Buddhist meditative practice. In this book, the author mainly talks about skills in dialectical behavior therapy (DBT), how to improve emotional regulation skills, and interpersonal skills. We will now discuss how to improve your emotional regulation skills in life. You might encounter situations where you can't control your emotions well, leading to offending others when you are in a bad mood, causing people around you to distance themselves, thinking you are a person with low EQ and difficult to get along with. From this perspective, the root cause of low EQ lies in your inability to adequately control your emotions, preventing friendly interactions with others. Therefore, the author says that the first step in training EQ is to improve your emotional regulation skills. How can this be done? Are there effective methods to improve your ability to regulate your emotions? Of course, there are, but before discussing the methods, you need to first understand what emotions are and how they affect you. Basic emotional states include happiness, anger, sorrow, joy, and other forms, but emotions are not that simple. In this book, the author says that emotions can be divided into two types: primary emotions and derived emotions. Primary emotions are your instinctive reactions to events that occur, which you cannot change. For example, you naturally feel fear when there's thunder. Derived emotions, however, are caused by your thoughts, which are your processed feelings of your primary emotions. For instance, you feel fear during thunder, but you're afraid to tell others because it would make you feel ashamed. In this case, fear is your primary emotion, and shame is your derived emotion. If you exhibit abnormal behavior in certain situations, it's actually because you're controlled by your derived emotions. Let's give a more vivid example to see how derived emotions affect your behavior. Suppose you're driving home and suddenly get overtaken by a speeding car. Instantly, you feel very dangerous, even a bit scared, and start swerving to avoid that car. But a few seconds later, you think that the other driver did it on purpose. So your fear quickly turns into anger, and you start furiously chasing the car in front, leading to a rear-end collision. In this example, your primary emotion is the fear and fright caused by being overtaken, while your derived emotion is the anger induced by your thoughts that the other party did it on purpose. Therefore, the more you think about it, the angrier you get and decide to retaliate. This shows that derived emotions are the culprits leading you to irrational behavior. So, the key to managing emotions lies in learning to control your derived emotions. Don't let derived emotions interfere with your judgment of people and things. Fortunately, after understanding the two major classifications of emotions and the impact of derived emotions on your behavior, we will introduce in detail how to regulate your derived emotions. The author mentioned 4 techniques. 1. The first technique is to train the ability of self-attention to obtain the liberation of thoughts and emotions. Self-attention means focusing on what you are currently doing, trying not to subjectively judge things that have already happened to avoid triggering negative derived emotions affecting your mood. Training self-attention can help you break free from the control of derived emotions. Let's first give an example to see what consequences lack of self-attention can lead to. A lady was late for work and missed a very important meeting. This made her feel particularly guilty, so she regretted it all day and even sent a wrong email due to distraction, causing her to lose an important project. From this example, we can see that people who lack self-attention often let themselves be immersed in past pain and troubled by past emotions. Just like this lady, she paid too much attention to what had happened and was not focused on what she should be doing at the moment, leading to serious consequences like losing the important project. So, how do you train your self-attention? Dialectical behavior therapy mentions a technique that can help you break free from your negative emotions. The core of mastering this technique lies in using your imagination to visualize your thoughts and emotions in a way that they leave you before causing harm. For example, imagine you are sitting on the grass, watching your thoughts and emotions drifting away with the clouds, or imagine you are sitting by a stream, watching your thoughts and emotions float away. with the fallen leaves. Or imagine writing your thoughts and emotions on the beach, then watching them being washed clean by the waves. Only by not immersing yourself in past pain can you greatly reduce the likelihood of generating derived emotions. The second technique is non-judgmental observation of yourself and skillful use of coping thoughts. Have you noticed in life that when some people are angry or hurt, the most common thing they do is to judge the person or thing that caused their negative emotions, magnifying their pain, and eventually leading to emotional out of control? For example, if they do something wrong, they easily deny themselves, thinking they are incompetent. If the other party does something wrong, they feel that he is extremely evil. The reason why high EQ training courses can help you successfully regulate your emotions lies in the key techniques of acceptance and change. Tagger once said, if you cry because you miss the sun, you will also miss the stars. So to improve your EQ, you must be objective and not subjectively judge objective things. Don't dwell too much on your own mistakes. Dialectical behavior therapy believes that apparently contradictory things can both be correct. And the most important dialectical idea is to accept yourself without any judgment while changing destructive behavior. This way, you can live a healthier life. For example, Jim lost the watch his girlfriend gave him. When he first discovered the watch was lost, he was furious, thinking he was very careless and an idiot. This thought made him feel worse and worse about the already happened loss of the watch. In this example, Jim's thought that he was an idiot is a type of triggering thought. It will trigger or cause Jim to feel more painful emotions. The author says triggering thoughts often make a person feel emotionally unstable. Typical triggering thoughts include I can't do anything right, I'm a loser, no one cares about me, I don't trust anyone. If triggering thoughts continue to occupy your attention and cause you painful emotions, they will become a powerful negative energy in your life. So, what should you do? How should you respond when you have triggering thoughts? The author mentioned 2 tips. First, when something bad happens, don't make any judgments about it. Learn to accept reality to avoid generating triggering thoughts from the root. Second, when triggering thoughts bring you negative emotions, actively use coping thoughts to soothe your emotions. For example, in the case of Jim losing the watch, he originally thought he was an idiot, which made him very depressed, but later, when he used coping thoughts like mistakes are always inevitable, and no one is perfect to comfort himself, he felt much more relaxed. So, when you have negative emotions, you can find some strong, positive coping thoughts to remind yourself of your strength and past successes. It is recommended that you write them down and place them where you can see them at any time, so you can remind yourself when facing difficulties. The more frequently you see these self-affirming thoughts, the faster they will become an organic part of your thought process. Common coping thoughts include I can get through this too. This situation is very bad, but it's only temporary. Similarly, after someone does something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can also use coping thoughts to think about the good things he has done for you before. 3. The third technique is to learn balanced thinking. When you can focus on what you are currently doing and not judge events, the next thing to train is your balanced thinking mindset. Balanced thinking means neither being emotional nor completely disregarding emotional factors, trying to achieve a synthesis of rationality and sensibility. The author says whether or not you can think balanced is a precise standard for judging high and low EQ. Let's give an example to see how a person with balanced thinking makes decisions when facing a matter. Sean is very busy at work, while other colleagues are relatively idle. But at this time, the boss assigns Sean another new task. Sean feels bullied by the boss and thinks it's unfair. And aggrieved, he wants to shout at the boss and quit his job on the spot. But Sean didn't do that. Instead, he chose to grit his teeth and endure until he calmed down and then found a way to communicate with the boss. Because Sean clearly knows that if he did that, he would lose his job and income. In this example, Sean's thinking mode is a balanced thinking mindset. People who think balanced will prioritize their long-term goals and make the most effective decisions. So, how should you train your ability to think balanced? In this book, the author mentioned a small technique when you can't do it. You can imagine what you would advise your friend if he encountered a similar situation. The fourth technique is dealing with emotional crises. Even if you do very well in the above 3 points, you will still encounter intense emotions that you cannot control. We call this situation an emotional crisis. Regarding how to successfully cope with an emotional crisis, the author gave 3 techniques. First, you can imagine yourself as a friend in the same situation and have a heart-to-heart talk with yourself. Write a letter to yourself from someone else's perspective, talking about the wrong ways you have recently used to deal with emotions, and encouraging yourself to make changes. Second, you can try to divert your attention. Make a comfort list for yourself, thinking about what you can do to make yourself happy. Lastly, you need to develop an emergency response plan for yourself. The plan's content includes what caused your emotional crisis, what behaviors you usually have when you fall into an emotional crisis, and what things you can try to divert your attention, etc. One of the biggest reasons why emotional crises are easy to lose control is that people generally don't develop response plans in advance. This means you can only turn to those old, simple, and inappropriate methods. But if you can use the above 3 techniques to prepare in advance, you can greatly improve your chances of successfully handling emotional crises. Okay, this is the first part I will talk about today: how to improve your emotional regulation skills. In this part, the author introduces the impact of emotions on people and for effective techniques for managing emotions. The author says emotions can be divided into primary emotions and derived emotions. And the reason for low EQ is often because you are often controlled by your derived emotions, leading to inappropriate behavior and broken interpersonal relationships. Therefore, the key to improving EQ lies in how to manage and control your derived emotions. Don't let derived emotions grow wildly. Here, the author mentioned 4 key techniques for regulating emotions. 1. Learn self-attention. Focus on what you are currently doing, and don't be troubled by past thoughts. 2. Less criticism and more acceptance. Be objective. Learn to use coping thoughts. 3. Think in a balanced way, focusing on your long-term goals, not being swayed by current emotions. 4. In the face of an emotional crisis, develop a response plan in advance and be prepared. Next, we will talk about the second key content today: how to improve your interpersonal skills. The author says that being able to manage your own emotions is a prerequisite for improving your interpersonal skills. Why is that? Because the quality of personal emotions often affects the quality of your interpersonal relationships. For example, if you are in a good mood today, your interpersonal relationships will be harmonious. If you are in a bad mood today, your interpersonal relationships may also have problems. So, to make your interpersonal relationships more harmonious, in addition to mastering emotional management methods, you also need to learn some techniques to improve your interpersonal skills. How exactly do you do that? The author mentioned 2 points in this book. 1. How to maintain existing interpersonal relationships. 2. How to expand future interpersonal relationships. If you have been in sales, you must have heard the saying developing 10 new customers is not as good as maintaining 1 old customer. In my opinion, making friends is the same. Maintaining existing interpersonal relationships is much more efficient than blindly making new friends. And to maintain existing interpersonal relationships, the most important thing is to master effective communication skills. The author says that people with high EQ are all using the same communication model. This communication model is called autonomous communication. People who communicate in this way can not only properly express their views but also understand the principle of empathy, respecting others as well as themselves. So, for ordinary people, how do you make yourself master autonomous communication skills? The author mentioned 4 points in the book. The first point is to change the beginning of expressing emotions from you to I. The benefit of doing this is to remind you to focus on yourself. Focus on describing your own feelings to gain the other party's understanding. For example, when you want to say, "You make me so angry, I don't want to deal with you anymore," you can change it to, "I feel very angry, I want to be quiet for a while." Although these 2 sentences express the same emotion, if you say it in the second way, the other party will not feel that you are accusing him, and will naturally be willing to listen. The second point is to put the part where you express your feelings at the beginning. For example, saying, "I feel sad to hear you say this," is better than saying, "Hearing you say this makes me sad." Although there seems to be no difference on the surface, the first way of speaking means you will take responsibility for your own emotions, while the second way is a way of blaming your negative emotions on the other party. The third point is to speak neither too softly nor too harshly when negotiating with others. For example, a girl promised her sister to stay at home for a few more days during the summer vacation, but she had to leave early because something came up. The sister felt very disappointed about this. The best communication skill at this time is to understand the sister's disappointment and apologize for your own decision on the one hand, and on the other hand, to express your true thoughts and feelings honestly. When communicating, you should neither be too soft nor too hard. The fourth point is to learn to actively listen and discover the needs of others. As we all know, good communication is two-way. Active listening is not only listening but also includes feedback. The author says good communication bears the responsibility of truly understanding the other party, and the ultimate goal of communication is to make changes. Active listening means understanding the other person's needs and providing effective feedback. For example, during a conversation, if you're unsure about the other person's feelings or desires, you can ask for clarification, or what changes they think should be made in the situation. The more proactive your questions, the more you understand, and the more capable you become in finding a win-win solution. To practice active listening, remember these 3 points: don't interrupt when others are speaking, avoid judging their words arbitrarily, and provide timely acknowledgement and feedback that align with your values and moral standards, showing that you're not just listening but also understanding. How to expand future interpersonal relationships. Some people, when overwhelmed by intense emotions,
tend to shut themselves away and avoid the care of friends and family. Others might vent their emotions inappropriately, like using friends as a venting outlet, causing friends to drift away. Both scenarios can lead to isolation, so what can you do to expand your social circle? There are two methods. Consider repairing a past friendship. Many have experienced falling out with a close friend over an issue and then drifting apart. If you regret the end of this friendship, try reaching out, explaining the situation, and expressing your true feelings. Repairing a friendship often takes less time and effort than making a new friend. Expand your social network through someone with a wide circle of acquaintances. For example, an IT professional who hadn't dated due to limited social contact began interacting with a sociable colleague. By establishing a good friendship with this colleague, he indirectly expanded his social circle, making many new friends from various fields, and even found a girlfriend. This story is inspiring. If you're struggling to expand your social circle, consider leveraging the power of others to develop friendships. To improve interpersonal skills, you should both maintain existing relationships and expand future ones. Maintaining relationships involves communication skills, like starting with I instead of you when expressing emotions, and putting your feelings at the forefront too. Convey your own emotions rather than blaming others. When negotiating, balance is key. Be neither too soft nor too hard, and actively listen to understand the other's needs and provide effective feedback. Expanding future relationships, besides the communication skills mentioned, involves repairing old friendships and developing new social connections through others. Finally, remember that high emotional intelligence (EQ) is not innate but can be developed. Whether you're a teen or just someone looking to understand and manage your emotions better, Don't Let Your Emotions Run Your Life for Teens is a must-read. It's not just a book, it's a tool for a healthier, more balanced emotional life. So that's it for today's book summary. If you found this helpful, give us a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful book summaries. Remember, your emotions are a part of you, but they don't have to control you. Stay mindful and empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.